Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan and you're watching my World of Sport Wrestling review, week 9. So, kicking us off this week, we had the WOS Women's Championship on the line, which is champion Kaylee Ray versus Viper. Now this was a really good match, as you would expect between these two, because we had more of Viper and her power dominance, but Kaylee Ray really got to show her resiliency, and no matter how much and no matter how hard Viper hit her, she was always getting back up. And that was the theme in this match, I'd say, was the champion's resiliency, because it was for every hard hit, she would stand back up. For every miss, she'd stand back up. It was just something like that. Like every misstep, stand up. Every punch, stand up. It was just a constant rhythm like that, and it was really well done. Again, neither woman comes out of it looking bad, because we had champion's resiliency and Viper showing her power. And in the end, resiliency came over dominance, and KLR came out with the win, retaining her WS Women's Championship. Okay, so the second and final match of the night was the big announcement match, which turned out to have been a buzzer battle, which was really unique. It's just an ITV thing, isn't it, with the buzzers? But yeah, so the buzzer battle was a brilliant concept, and it was very well done for its first ever. But now it's, how do I explain this? So for each buzzer press, 2 new entrants would join a tag team match, and that would go on until 8 people were left and it became a battle royal. So let me try and explain each match as they happen by buzzer. So I've got them all up on here, so I'll be looking this way for the next however long it takes me to read these. So 2 minutes. So we started off with Robbie X versus Kip Sabian. Then it became Robbie X and Stevie Boy versus Kip Sabian and BT Gunn. Then it was Robbie, Stevie and Liam Slater versus Kip, BT Gunn and Yestin Reese. Then Stevie Boy and BT Gunn were eliminated. Stevie Boy first, then BT Gunn after. Then we had Robbie, Liam Slater and Grado versus Kip, Yestin and Shay. Then we had Robbie, Liam Slater, Grado and British Bulldog Jr. versus Kip, Yestin, Shay and CJ Banks. And then Kip, Yestin, Grado and British Bulldog Jr. were all simultaneously eliminated. And then we had Robbie, Liam Slater and Adam Maxted versus Shay, CJ and Nathan Cruz. Then we had Robbie X, Liam Slater, Adam Maxted and Justin Sysom versus Shay, CJ, Cruz and Crater. And then finally, we had Robbie, Slater, Maxted, Sysom and Moose versus Shay, CJ, Cruz, Crater and Gabriel Kidd. And then we saw Robbie X eliminated, and then we saw Liam Slater eliminated, and then that was the 8, and we had the Battle Royal, which was Adam Maxted, Justin Sysom, Moose, Shay Samuels, CJ Banks, Nathan Cruz, Crater and Gabriel Kidd. And then throughout the Battle Royal we saw Gabriel Kidd first eliminated, then Cruz was eliminated, followed by Maxted, Shay, CJ, Moose, and then finally Crater was eliminated with Justin Sysom taking the win. So that was the breakdown of the matches. Now it's reviewing it. So the first two, as I said, was Robbie X and Kip Sabian. And opening it up with 2 of the smallest people on the roster, I felt was a nice little touch. Maybe, yeah. Like, it was quite literally a fast-paced beginning. And we had, although he kicked out, we had the weird pin by Robbie X, proving that no matter the situation, no matter the body movement, you could always be pinned, and Robbie X knows just how to pin you. Then with the addition of BT Gunn and Stevie Boy, It became those two not wanting to fight each other. They were forced to do it because they were on opposite ends.
Much fun seeing this.
I can't imagine these two ever teaming again after this. It's like brothers doing battle. I love it.
But in the end, nobody wanted to pin the other person. And when there was too much camaraderie between them, Stu pressed the buzzer, and that's where we were introduced to Liam Slater and Yestin. So now we had one side with the tag team champions on it. So instantly they've got to be the advantage side because there's a reason they're the tag team champions, and it's because they are the number one tag team. So they joined the match, and again, it was still Stevie Boy and BT Gunn not wanting to fight, and after hitting their little finishing move, Alpha Bad was forcing BT Gunn to pin Stevie, but he refused to, so Kip tagged in, and there goes Stevie Boy. And because BT Gunn didn't want to play teammates, they dusted him off themselves, and then Liam Slater pinned him, and he was gone. So far we've had comrades against each other and not wanting to break camaraderie. We have tag team champions looking cool. We have cool moves by Robbie X. And then the match continues. We see the additions of Grado and Shea Samuels, and Shea being the beast that he is, just brutal. And then Grado was just too jokey, as Grado does. And he just didn't get to see the light of day, Grado. It was just dominated. And Stu's buzzer broke, so nothing could be done. It was just Grado getting beat down, which was, let's say, nice to see for a minute. Because I do enjoy Grado, but sometimes the jokers do need to be brought down a few pegs. But so Calval didn't see it that way, and so she pushed the buzzer herself. Enter CJ Banks and British Bulldog Jr. So they joined the match, and British Bulldog Jr. came in to make the save. Lots of stuff happened. Grado got angry and tried to destroy everything around him. Well, everyone around him. And it resulted in a big outside brawl between Yestin, Kip, Grado and British Bulldog Jr., which is what resulted in them all being eliminated. And then this was the nice surprise, which was Adam Maxted came out without another half. And then, surprise, came Nathan Cruz. Mr. doesn't have a contract, and he just took out Maxted, and definitely no love lost between the bromance, because you wouldn't ever believe that there was a bromance when you see how much they hate each other now. Like, if you were tuning in this week, you wouldn't understand it, you wouldn't believe it. Like, if you tuned in for the first time this week, which why would you, because it's the second to last week. The hatred between the bromance, which was very much highlighted here, which then saw the addition of Sysum and Crater. And I really enjoyed this matchup because although it did end up being the 3-on-1 that took out Crater, and I've enjoyed Sysum's championship chase, I always felt like the person who should have been Crater's first loss should have been the hero, Sysum. But it is what it is. It happened, and I'm not going to complain because it was all well done. There's nothing wrong with how it went, but yeah. So getting these two clashing in the ring was wonderful. And then we had, it was Shea and CJ again. Even without Rampage there, they just wouldn't leave Sison alone, which resulted in Sison being splashed into the corner, then very much torture pulled and slammed by Crater, and poor Sison just didn't. I might be a bit early on that actually. I feel like that happened in the Battle Royal, not in the tag team match. So if I am right about being wrong, I apologise. That all happened later on. I'm not running on a fresh mind here. It's not in my notes. My notes is just all the matches because there was lots of them inside of the Buzzer Battle. So I do apologise if I got that in the wrong order, but it did happen at some point. So it happened. But then continuing on with this match, we saw the final editions, which were Gabriel Kidd and Crater. And I am now realising that what I did say did happen later on, because Crater and Sison came out, and then it was only minutes after that the final two, which were Gabriel Kidd and Moose, entered, because they just wanted it out of the way, and it was like, here you go. And then we saw Robbie and Slater eventually eliminated, Slater being the final eliminated after a splash by Crater. And then Sirens, Battle Royal begins, which, again, it was everyone listed before: Maxted, Sison, Moose, Samuels, Banks, Cruz, Crater, and Kidd. So I do realise that I did mess up, which means everything that I've said before about Sison being pummeled by the trio, it happened here. So I pretty much started my review for this final section like a minute ago, 2 minutes ago, however long ago it was. And then, and we saw Gabriel Kidd fast eliminated in this, which I don't want to say was shocking, but somebody had to go. And again, the former bromance, Maxted and Cruz, they left the ring through the ropes, not over the ropes, so they were still in the match, but they were beating the heck out of each other on the outside. And then maybe the most brutal elimination, which was Shea being dropkicked by Moose, because damn, that looked bad in a good way. It looked really good, but it looked painful. Yeah. And I've jumped the gun a bit there because Bromance, again former Bromance, did eventually make it back into the ring, and Maxted eliminated Cruz, and then Cruz was like, no, not like this, and then he came and eliminated Maxted. And then the whole Shea dropkick thing happened, and when Shea goes, CJ follows, because that's how the duo goes. So immediately after Shea was dropkicked off, CJ was thrown over, and he was gone. And like I said, by this point, the whole torture, slam and stuff had happened, so Sison was gone and out for now. Not out of the match, just out of the way. And that was when we got Crater and Moose just beasts. And then eventually we would see Crater eliminate Moose, and Crater believed he won. Sison came back. Broken is all I can say because of everything that happened. A broken Justin Sison did things. He attempted to lift Crater. Nope, not happening. And then after a bit more punishment and a bit more time, he did it again. And kaboom, kaslam, Crater has been body slammed by the superhuman Justin Sison. So, yeah, Sison, body slam, and as soon as the body slam happened, you could see that he was bewildered, he was pretty much out himself, but Crater was completely gone. So Sison was like, right, it's time, took him over, and Justin Sison wins. And next week we have just goodness and craziness as again the four simultaneous eliminations, which was Grado British Bulldog Jr. will be competing for the tag team championships against Kip and Yestin, and we have the showdown of the Ultimates, World Sport Champion Rampage taking on this Ultimate Superhuman Justin Sison. It's a series finale. It sounds brutal. Although those are two good sounding matches, I don't know how they're going to top this week because the buzzer battle, I almost said battle royal, but that's not in. The buzzer battle was, again, it was a unique concept. It was very well done, and it's definitely something to put World Sport Wrestling back on the map, because a lot of places do just copy the Rumble concept and take the Rumble concept of we'll have 30 people coming in and out, but this isn't how they did it. They were like, we need something, we're going to do our own thing. They committed to it, they did it, they planned it, and it went really well. And I hope that we do get a second season and it isn't the last buzzer battle, because I'd love to see more of that with hopefully new people on the roster. And yeah, just see how that would go. So yeah, that's brilliant. Again, next week, Tag Team Championships on the line, the WS Championship on the line, and it's the last ever, well not last ever, it's the season finale of World of Sport. It's the last ever for now. It's the last for now. Until we know for sure that we're getting a second season, or unless you're going to one of the live events like I am, that's where you'll see it again in early 2019. World of Sport will be back for many different cities. I think it was 9 cities around the UK, so I can't wait for that. And like I say, next week we see the end of season 1. So I shall see you then. Farewell and goodbye.